Well, Tom, speaking of Arrow, continued my exploration of the Coffin Joe set, and I watched The Strange World of Coffin Joe, which is not part of the Coffin Joe trilogy. It's not even a fucking Coffin Joe movie, Tom. It's an anthology film, and it starts out, yeah, it shows some clips from the first two Coffin Joe movies, the last two that I reviewed. And that's it. That's all we get at Coffin Joe. The first story, Tom, has to do with some toughs, out in a bar. And they're like, oh, there's what's his name? He makes the best selling dolls in all Brazil. People love his dolls because the eyes are so lifelike. He's got a lot of money in his house. And you know what else he has? Four hot daughters. So they go to this guy's house. They beat the shit out of him. And they're going to, take his money and rape his daughters. So they start raping the daughters. And the daughters, they start to come alive. Like, oh, wow, look at your eyes. And the daughters turn the tables and they start fucking them Amazon style, or Brazil style. And then they start killing them. And you can guess what happens there, Tom. They take those guys' eyes and use them for the dolls. Woo, that sucked. Second story, no dialogue. It's this guy following a girl around, following her around town. He's like homeless, or maybe he was in the movie Down's Revenge, but he's nothing not right with the guy. And he follows her around and he just keeps on staring. And we see the point of view of his stare. He's staring at her feet. He's a foot fetishist. Uh, as he's following her around, she starts to have a romance with a guy. They get married, and as she's coming out of the wedding, some woman just walks up and stabs her, stabs her to death, which is odd. But anyway, she's buried and she's put in a crypt, and he goes in there and he fucks her. The next story, Tom. uh, this one, although it doesn't star Coffin Joe, it's the guy Jose Marins that played Coffin Joe. He's playing pretty much Coffin Joe, except without the top hat and shit. He's got kind of like a fro going. He's still got his fucking Frida Kahlo eyebrows. He's still got the long fingernails, and he's just he's a professor or some shit, and he's trying to explain that love is bullshit. That we're all just animals at the core, Tom. And the other scientists are just laughing at him, blah blah. And he invites one of the other scientists, "Hey, come on over to the house so I can show you some of the research. Bring your wife along." And then he just tortures them until they fucking turn on each other. No, kill him, whatever. You see, I was right. Love is a lie. That's the end of that, and that sucked. I did look at the special features on this disc, and one of them was another essay, Tom, another video essay. Not pompous as the last one, but still, fuck it, it's pointless. And then there was a long interview with this guy. What the hell's his name? Stephen Thrower. And he's a guy that's all this shit that's produced when they do the special features from Britain, and it's some kind of exploitation. They talk to this guy. He's in a lot of fucking things, and he's all right. He throws out, yeah. It does have some of the Sadean things like that whole other essay was talking about. But he goes, but nobody knows if Coffin Joe read Desaad or anything, So he kind of invalidates a lot of the shit that other people said, but he's still kind of boring, because he's like a British intellectual type, and they just fucking put you to sleep, man. Yeah, I can't recommend The Strange World of Coffin Joe, but I'll be checking out the next disc, and we'll see if this thing is translated or not. If it's got the subtitles, that's supposed to be the issue with this one. No subtitles. And I don't speak Portuguese, so.
Fucking arrow.